Hi! We are back at home. Nothing new happened that we need to worry about. Everything is fine. We are just doing laundry. And I parked outside of the laundromat and I set the timer to remind me when the time is to go pick everything out of the washers. In the meantime, I think it is great for them to remember that we actually live here, so they don't go like, "Oh, we live in a hotel with a big queen size bed." No, 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 no. This is our reality. Mimo is doing great. So, I am sorry I couldn't have this video ready for you on Sunday morning. I was beyond exhausted yesterday. Every muscle hurt. So I rested and I cooked food for them because Mimo is not liking the kibble anymore, which is understandable. He was on wet food, good quality wet food for several days because of his surgery, and of course he doesn't like the kibble anymore. And I did think, yeah, if I cook for them, that is going to be so much more healthier. So yeah. So yesterday it took me more than an hour to make that brown rice, white rice as a filler, beef, turkey, lots of broccoli, peas, carrots, and spinach, and eggs. And it's amazing. They love it. It's because I was researching online about that farmer's dog food. It's amazing how much publicity they are making everywhere, on TV, online, everywhere. Obviously, they do want to establish themselves in the market. And so I went on their website and I completed the questionnaire to understand what I would need. Mimo is happily biting me. Why do you bite me? He doesn't actually bite, he grabs me with his teeth and he directs my hand to wherever he wants me to rub him. Yes. Everybody gathers at the laundromat on Saturdays and Sundays. So I did complete all the questions for the farmer's dog, and which I think are very intelligent because they tailor the diet to your dog and their needs. Stop biting me. I know, I love you too. I love you too. And we are home, yay! But you have lure for chewing. So, the cost of the farmer's dog food with the promotional discount would come to almost $70 for both of them per week. And that is, unfortunately, something I cannot afford. So I decided, okay, whatever they put in their food, I can cook even better food for them. So I did that. Brown rice, I boiled it. Then at about half the way through the cooking period or time for the brown rice, I added white rice, again as a filler, which is good. Beef, ground beef, and ground turkey. Broccoli, I bought a big bag of flowers and stems, frozen. and peas and carrots and spinach, lots of spinach. And in the last minute, I just added 6 eggs, eyeballing the portions. I got a huge tub of great quality food that is probably going to last them more than a week for about $30. So between $70 and $30, I think the choice is kind of easy to make. So great quality food. I forgot to buy some fruit to include in there, like I don't know, frozen apples or something. It's okay, next week. And they love it. Since we do have kibble still, I put the new food in their bowls, and then I add a bunch of kibble just for the crunch. And Mimo goes around each and every one of those and eats all the porridge I made. And then if he doesn't have any more choices, he does eat the kibble. Lua is not that picky, she eats the whole thing. But she's a fatty, so we are trying to get her back in line. She has to shed a couple of pounds, and she's a foodie and she loves even kibble. So that is what I did yesterday. It took me more than an hour to cook that. I used the induction cooktop in the hotel with the big pan I have, and it was great, fantastic. I have food for a whole week for them. That's good. But I did that at the end of the day because the early part of the day I couldn't move. It was like I was so exhausted. So the first part of the day I couldn't move. My muscles would not work at all. And I guess it was 8 days of extreme stress with Mimo's surgery and all those things, and work and everything compounded to be very stressful. And thank you for your comment, you know who. Thank you for your comment. I did think a lot about how to de-stress. So yesterday I did that. I let my body rest. It needed it. But I am going back on the protein shakes because my muscles are probably being eaten by my system, because sometimes I don't eat properly because I am not hungry. So I'm going back onto the protein shakes that I did last year while I was working because it's needed. I don't like the fact that they have several artificial ingredients and sucralose. I don't like that. But there is a brand that only has like 1 gram of carbs in total per shake, but 36 grams of protein. And there is a point in this society we live in where you have to say, okay, this is not 100% good for me, but allowing my muscles to wash away because I don't have enough food in my diet is not okay either. So one or the other. I am pretty sure with the healthy diet I am following, my body will be able to get rid of those chemicals, of those artificial things, much better than a person who eats crap all day long. So the emergency is to rebuild muscle. So I need protein. I'm going back on the protein shakes, and that is a thing for some time until my muscles can recuperate faster. So those are the updates so far. Tomorrow it's going to be 3 months since we met Mimo for the first time. So Mimo is here and we are fighting over a toy. And tomorrow we are going to celebrate our first day, our first 3 months together. And I think I'm going to get him some patties from McDonald's. One of the nice things about being a carnivore is that you can just stop at one of those burger chains and just buy the patties alone. They do sell them to you. So if I buy 3 patties for him, because it's 3 months, and a couple of patties for me and one for Lua, it's going to be $7-8 tops. And we are going to have a fantastic anniversary celebration with Mimo for having met him 3 months ago when we were in Santa Fe. Lua, échate. So, on Tuesday or Wednesday, I don't remember when the 6th is. On the 6th, Leon, one of my grandkids, is turning 12. So, happy birthday, Leon. I cannot get you 12 patties from McDonald's because you are a little further away. Even if I put them in an envelope, they are not going to get to you nice and juicy. Even if we know McDonald's food doesn't decompose. But in any case, happy birthday, Leon. What else? What else do we have to... I don't know. Scattered brain. Today I decided I wanted to make a video on why would you want to be a nomad? So let's talk about that. You know, I had a meltdown when someone told me, you made horrible decisions in your life. That is why you ended up living in a vehicle. And you know how much it hurt me, among other things. But this is not a life you end up with because of wrong decisions, wrong financial decisions, or anything like that. It may be for a few people. ¿Qué te pasa? ¿Qué te pasa? Estás loquito, estás loquito, estás loquito. Oh, wow, shit, wow. Oh, tell people, on Tuesday, the stitches are coming out. I don't know, they told me it's not necessary to sedate him. They just grab him among several people there and they just pull them out. I am not liking them, so I'm going to negotiate with them and see if they want to charge me something to give him some painkillers. I don't like the idea of him being just stapled down, and I don't want him to suffer. So I am working for DGG in northern Minnesota, side by side with so many nomads. You have no idea. Everybody has a t-shirt that says adventure, whatever. Everybody's a nomad there, and everybody works. Some of them are international nomads, and they gather money for a big project in Thailand or wherever. One of them is now saving money. He is going to go to Switzerland for a long stay. So that is what they do. So anyone can be a nomad with that idea in mind, working, making money, taking advantage of working for this company that pays for your lodging, that is amazing. Every month, every dollar you make, you save it. He didn't want Lua on the bed, and now he's whining because Lua is away. Lua is laying down on the floor. Can't you be normal, please? I know. Oh, she left. She left you alone. Oh, poor thing. So, why do people become nomads? I can only speak for myself. Mimo. So, I fantasized for years about becoming a nomad because I was thinking, when I get older, what am I going to do? Sit in front of the TV with my laptop on my lap and watching the news, or learning something online or whatever for hours and hours and hours on end. What am I going to do when I get bored? I'd go to a shopping mall and stay there and walk around to see what new colors were in fashion that year. What am I going to do with my days that is significant? Volunteering somewhere, yes, that's a noble cause. But other than that, what am I going to do that makes me happy? And one of the end results of that processing was, there's so many places I would love to see. I want to see mountains. I want to see, I don't know, big rivers and forests and oceans and the desert, which I ended up loving. And I want to see all that life that grows everywhere. And I want to be wowed by landscapes, the Grand Canyon, so many things. And I decided, yes, that is what I want to do when I grow older. But how do I do it? Do I buy a big Class A? Mimo, you're getting very annoying, very annoying. I'm not going to ask for painkillers for you on Tuesday. So I started studying. I had no idea what the difference between Class A, B, C, fifth wheels. I didn't know what the differences were between all those weird denominations. So I started going to shows, RV shows, and RV dealers, and I quickly realized a Class A was totally out of my power because it's a bus, and they not only they cost a lot of money to buy, but to maintain. And of course, we try to bring our life into the new vehicle. So we want to have the living room, the dining room, the bedroom, the bathroom, the shower, the this, that. We try to replicate the place where we live and bring it into the vehicle. I'm so sorry, he is Mimo. So I quickly got rid of the idea of the Class A. Class B was super easy to get rid of because it is, I think, the perfect size, mostly for a couple, but for a single person it's just luxurious. But they are super expensive, and I heard so many things about so many repairs you have to make constantly on some of them. I think, don't quote me, I think ProMaster is infamously famous for needing little tweaks every now and then. And again, oh, it hurts. Don't bite my hand. I went to take the clothes out of the washers into the dryers, Mimo, and so I then had to decide, do I want a class C? Luckily I did not go for that because they are humongous, and again, perfect for a couple. I don't want to have to drive that kind of vehicle when I go up the mountains or wherever. It's too big. I get it. You have a nice kitchen, a dining room where you can sit at. I get it. The interior space is nice. But again, they are expensive to buy, expensive to insure, expensive to maintain. So then I went into the trailers, fifth wheels and toy haulers, and I don't know, there are so many, with Airstreams being the dream. But all of those, I remember one, the name was Escape, with like escape but with an A in the beginning, so it was Escape. I was quite interested in that one until I sat inside of one of those. The quality was so poor, and so they're nice, but they didn't strike me as great finishes or anything like that. And I thought, this is going to be like living inside of an origami house. In any case, I suddenly realized I didn't want to live in a trailer, I mean sleep in a trailer, for the simple reason that I really wanted to give boondocking a try, a serious try. Being in the middle of a forest, in the middle of a desert, away from everybody. And I did see bears later on. But I thought of them before. I thought, do I really want to hear a bear trying to get into my trailer and have to open the door to get out of the trailer, walk around the trailer to get onto the passenger seat of my vehicle to start driving away? Or if it is not a bear, someone that tries to break in, do I really want to come out and face them while I move onto the vehicle? And I realized, no, that is the last thing I would love to do. No way. So then the possibilities were shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. And at the time, I was driving a very small car, a Ford Focus, and that's a very small car. I thought of starting in the car, but that was going to be very tight. So I decided, okay, I will sell the Ford and I will buy a minivan. So I watched every video about minivans. What nobody tells you, very few people are realistic enough to tell you, is that yes, you have a minivan, which is absolutely amazing because they are easy to drive, they are quite economic compared to all the others. They're fantastic. I actually lived inside of one for 3 years. They're super good for stealthing. But what nobody tells you is the space is limited. If you put too many things in there, you don't fit. And I started with a cot. It was too, even if I got the narrowest one, it was too wide. It was taking too much precious space. I have seen some very intelligent layouts in minivans, very intelligent ones, prioritizing a space for you, a space to be comfortable at. Some people have some of the seats so they can sit there during the day. I tried, it didn't work for me because it was not comfortable enough for my back. You always have the front seat for that. I started with my bed along the vehicle from the driver's seat to the back, and it was okay until I realized I am 5'7", so if I put my bed across from a sliding door to a sliding door, it was the perfect fit for me. It's 5'7". It is less than that, but for some miracle of physics that I don't understand, when the doors are closed, if I am there, I was barely touching the door barely. There was a little gap. And my head didn't touch the other door, the sliding doors. So I left a teeny little corridor between the seats and the bed, just about 10 inches. That would allow me to climb on the van, to get on the van, sit on the bed as if it was the second row seat, close the door, and then either lay down or sit on the bed and turn to the back. And Mimo, arriba, vení, Mimo. And by having the bed across, I had a small living room in the back. So I had room for my toilet, my fridge, a small dresser. No dogs, no dogs. There, yay, 5 minutes of peace. I forgot to set the timer. Because I took the clothes out of the washers and I put them in the dryers, so I have to remember when I did. And Mimo is now resting down here on a blanket, which is fantastic. He's not going to be shaking the tripod for 2 minutes. Yay! So yes, I had a little dresser and the toilet and the fridge and everything in back, so if I sat on the bed with my legs facing the back door, I was able to move around that space, and it was amazing. That was the best decision ever. Then I added, I fixed my 100 solar panel on the roof of the minivan, and I drove the cables in to feed my Jaggery 500. And you know the story. It was fantastic for 3 years. But then there were many things there that were funny. Going back to the beginning, to why I decided to be a nomad, again, it was the idea of being a little gypsy inside, a little. Human beings have been nomads forever, following the mammoths in their migrations so they could hunt one and have food, following the seasons. Human beings have been nomads forever. What is not normal is the type of life we have now, being in a house which you pay for just to contain your belongings, going to work for most of the day, and then trying to go out with friends or something to do something. But you accumulate so many things in those houses. You spend so much money in putting things inside of those houses, which is fun. It's a lot of fun to decorate, to put plants there, to grow your own tomatoes, whatever it is. But we accumulate too much, and we spend too much money in buying new clothes and new shoes and new whatever. We're always adding more and more and more and more. And to me, that was not working, because there's a hair here that is driving me crazy. I was not happy. I could go to the mall and buy a new blouse and put it in the closet and sit there and go like, nice, I have a new blouse. So now what? That kind of thing. So since I became a nomad, I saw incredible things. I drove incredible roads. I met incredible people, and I am so happy, because now I have so many things to do in one day. I don't have time to be bored. When I am camping or spending time while boondocking, I can either go for walks or go explore. That is my favorite thing, go explore sites around me. I always recommend Atlas Obscura. It's a site where locals participate, and they always tell you about funny places that you wouldn't think of, and they give you all the hints on how to get there and how to enjoy it. It has been one of the best experiences of my life. And living in a cocoon, I owe you a tour of the van, the new van. This is obviously not a minivan. As soon as I am able to clean it with this laundry load I am processing, I was able to clean all the drapes and all the sheets and everything. So I think I don't have to wash anything else in here. Everything is perfect. Now I have to clean. And I have been saying this for weeks. There is always something new, adapting to the job, blah, blah, blah. Becoming a nomad was a very, very well thought out decision. I weighed the pros and cons for years. I think I started thinking of it like 5 years before I actually started, and I made so many mistakes. The first one was to get too many things just in case I need them. Horrible mistake, because I spent so much money, and then I ended up donating most of those things. My advice to you, if you allow it, is start with whichever vehicle you have, because then you will see what other people do with their vehicles and how they live. I started with a tent. I hated it, because if it is windy, they never stay up. And it took too much space inside, and I had to deal with putting it up and putting it down and cleaning it. And the idea that a spider would crawl into the tent and then out in my van. Why? There. That idea of having a spider or some other critter coming out of my tent and populating my van, that drove me really crazier. So you think properly, think long and hard about what you really want. Start with whichever vehicle you want, a small SUV. I have seen big guys in small cars, and they are super comfortable there. and with the least amount of things you can have with you. Because if you notice that you really need a heating blanket, you can always get it later, or you can chase the temps and go to places that are not extremely cold, like I try to do. You don't need much. This life is amazing because I always say this, I always have one mug for my coffee, 1 or 2 small teaspoons, 2 spoonfuls, I have 2 now, 2 forks, 2 knives, and the cooking knife, and now I have 2 plates, and you don't need more than that. I have enough panties so I can do laundry every now and then. Everything is so simple and so easy when you live in a vehicle. You can make it as easy as you want, but again, start with as little as you can, because it is more valuable to have the money you would spend on flashlights and amazing camping equipment. It is way better to have that money in a bank account for an emergency, plus an emergency fund that is going to take a lot of worries out of your head. It is way easier to start with very few things and a lot of room for you than starting with a lot of things and then ending up donating all of that, which is wasted money. It's just that easy. But for most of us out there, nomads, and I have met amazing people, and I have made amazing friends. For all of us, the main thing is about enjoying life, enjoying nature, cleaning, because there is so much trash out there, and we nomads, we are the cleaners of nature around us. We do gather a lot of trash, and we take pride at doing that and cleaning things people throw away, which is not fun. I recently read now he's chasing his tail under the tripod, because why not? Sorry. Mimo, can you come up with something else to annoy? Because you're good at that. I recently heard something like people who trash places where they go, plastic straws and cups and cigarette butts and so many other things, they actually don't love themselves. That is why they cannot love the environment, the place where they are at, and they feel it is the ultimate statement for rebellion and whatever. So please cross your fingers for Mimo so he doesn't hurt too much on Tuesday when they remove the stitches. His anastomosis, which is because they removed 12 centimeters of his small intestine, then they have to connect the parts together again, and they have to link them very well so they don't come apart. But that wound may take months to heal and create all the fibers it needs to be strong. So I guess he will have to keep having healthy food and not kibble for a long time until his small intestine is nice and healed. So the skin is, the stitches are coming out on Tuesday. That was actually the easy part to heal. The anastomosis, the linkage of both parts of the intestine, that is going to be the difficult one. So we will keep fingers crossed. Thank you everybody for being so generous and helping me foot down the cost of the surgery. I still had to get financing for a big chunk of it, but that is going to make it easy over the months. It might make me have to stay here at Thrift River Falls and work a little longer than expected, but it's okay. I can deal with that. So tell me if you're here because you want to be a nomad. Tell me why. What is the reason for you to want to be a nomad? It's not an easy life. It's a lonely life most of the time, but it's an amazing adventure. It's an amazing adventure. The things you learn about yourself and about nature and those famous places and everything is incredible. So tell me why you would want to be a nomad, and I'll see you soon. Thank you for being here. Bye.